Social media until Paul's finished. And go, Gravesy.
Cheers, Cookie. Hi, Paul. How's things?
Yeah, good. Thanks to you.
Yeah, good. Thank you. I suppose there's only really one place to start, and that's probably the same place as you left it last night. Daniel Jefferson. What a first start, and I imagine he's still coming to terms with his first full game, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I've not seen him this morning. I've been with the other boys who didn't start, so I've not seen him. But I'm sure he's still walking on air. Really pleased for him. Like what everyone said last night, really pleased for him. He deserved his opportunity, and hopefully it's the first of many.
I mean, obviously you'll have worked with him a lot, I imagine, this season, so know him far better than any of us. But it struck me as being quite a mature performance for a teenager. Yeah,
I think that's because he understands that role. The way we played in the academy was very much with two centre forwards, so he understands. Lots of work is done with Jack Lester as well in terms of his role in around the box to score goals. Lots of work with myself in terms of his role without the ball. So we didn't ask him to do anything than what he's not done all season. So it was really, his role was very simple. So if we'd not seen him doing it and executing it over the season, he wouldn't have got a game. So it was. In that respect, you first start, 17 years old, there's going to be things you want to do better, and it's by no means a finished article, but the fact that we know all that about him made it a comfortable decision to make to put him in.
Now, from a team perspective as well, I know on commentary during the game, a lot was made of extolling the virtues of the Premier League and every game being competitive, but you've sat here with us week in, week out, saying that Sheffield United as a group have got plenty to play for, looking further ahead down the line. So how pleasing was it to get that performance, that response against a team who was being touted as European contenders?
Yeah, and we very much took care of ourselves in the build-up to that game, and as we have done in most games. But one other reason is Everton have picked lots of different systems, lots of different personnel. But one thing we do know is they've got world-class players. So we're prepared to deal with the threats in terms of potential players on the pitch. But we had to just be bothered about us and our performance and how our system could hurt them, because we weren't quite sure what they'd set up like. So, it was very much about us. And the pleasing thing about it is to get the result and people saying good things about the players. It is the best thing about the game. We got the 3 points. We've got the 20 points, but we're still bottom of the league as fate's still sealed. But the fact that people are saying nice things about the players is the reward.
72-hour turnaround to Newcastle. Are you able to be afforded the luxury of fielding the same starting 11 if you want to, or is the reality that you will have to change things around?
Yeah, we'll have a look. As I say, we're not blessed with a big squad. We've got 7 or 8 injuries, so the bench is the squad. So changes will be from the bench. We'll make changes, and we'll see how everyone's bodies are tomorrow. So today's been very much a light day for the starters, the non-starters out on the grass, and then we'll see how everyone's feeling and moving tomorrow, and then pick the team from there.
And of course, everybody's talking about these next few days, fans being allowed to return to the stadium. Obviously, there won't be travelling fans on Wednesday night, but I imagine for everyone involved in football, it'll be a watershed moment, won't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. We're in the Premier League. You stood on the sideline watching the best teams with the best managers on the sideline, but there's no fans. So it feels just like any other game. There's nothing. We're not getting that special feeling of the Premier League. So to start welcoming fans back will be great. We're away from home, good stadium, St James's Park, fanatical fans. So I'm sure there'll be however many thousands in there will be making some fantastic noise because they'll be pleased to be back. And then we finish the season at the Lane with our fans in. So, the next 2 games are something we can all look forward to.
And just finally from me as well, no doubt you'll have seen the petition that starts. Gary Neville's amongst those sponsoring it to have the government bring in an independent football regulator, given what happened with the attempted Super League Big Six breakaway. Is that something, as a football person, you'd support?
Yeah, definitely. I think this opportunity has to be seized to get clarity on anything going forward, to take away a lot of the fears, to get real clarity on what can and can't be done in the future, and put people's minds at rest. I know we're talking and going a lot further about making things as fair as possible and making it a level playing field and making it. I don't know how far you can go in terms of that. If the businesses and run like businesses and people want to inject cash into businesses, I don't know how much you can actually level it up. But certainly that we need to seize this opportunity to certainly get clarity and put minds at rest and allay a lot of fears about the so-called intentions of the big six, if you like, and where they want to take the game. Because as we said, you just look at Leicester winning the FA Cup, look at Leicester almost in the Champions League. Why should that be taken away from a club like that who have invested well, who have built a fantastic infrastructure and got a good group of players and manager now? So, why would that be taken away from us? Because that's everyone's dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Best of luck on Wednesday.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers.
Hi, Paul. Good to speak to you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Just to continue that theme, because obviously there's going to be a fan-led review from the government into the whole host of footballing issues. If they were coming to you to say, what would you like to see fixed in football? Is there something that would be a priority for you?
Referees' decision-making. It'd be a big one for me. Now, in terms of the infrastructure and things like that, one thing I have seen done well was at Hibs when we had a fans representative on the board. What that brought was real clarity and a connection, I think, if you like, with the fans and the club. I don't know how many clubs would be open to doing that, but that certainly would allay a lot of fears of fans if that then representative reports back to the fan supporters club and things like that, and that seemed to work well. So things like that, I don't know how easily they'd be introduced. There's been initiatives in the past and still currently ongoing with fans being allowed options to take up shares in the club to get a representation. Again, I don't know how far you could take those things. It certainly wouldn't be as far as the German model, that's for sure. So there's certainly, I think if you look across different examples in different countries, there's certain examples there for people to take a look at. But again, there'd be so much opposition towards it. So you can do an independent review into it and come up with great ideas, but putting the legislation in place to get things like that started is the difficult thing, because there'll be, just like there's vast opposition against the European Super League, there'll be opposition against certain proposed changes as well to try and get things more transparent.
Is football a bit like turning an oil tanker? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, in all ways it is. But that's the same when you try and make a change in any sort of industry or something with a tradition like football. But we see it change. We see it change all the time. Might be slow, but we see it change. But I think this opportunity, the fact of the attempted breakaway, is given a big opportunity to grasp and try and implement something straight away. And with people like Gary Neville getting his teeth into it, he certainly won't go down without a fight. He'll certainly give all his energy into it and drag a lot of people with him. So the more noise we can make as football fans, and the petition's a great start, then the more likely we are to make some change.
To go back to last night, so much confidence in that Sheffield United performance, particularly going forward. How have you gone about building that? Because clearly it's not like turning a tap on and off.
No, we've been trying, and it's only one game, but we've had other good performances where we've not got the win or not got a point. The wins we have come by, it's been important to score first. So that's been a big thing. Starting bright, getting a foothold in the game, and I thought we did that against Everton and then never really stopped. I thought we were strong from start to finish. So, yeah, the start's really important. Getting the first goal is vitally important, especially to our team and our setup and how we play and the quality of opposition we play against. Because if you're chasing the game and having to commit bodies forward and push, you can be really vulnerable to the counter, as we've seen. So, yeah, those are real key things and things we'll look to continue in the last two games.
Clearly, during the game, you were very happy with how it was going because you didn't make a substitution in the entire match. Can you remember the last time you did that?
No, are you going to tell me? I can't remember. No,
I'm
no,
afraid I have absolutely no idea. I was kind of hoping you'd know.
Stat there. No, I can't remember. Not. Yeah, sometimes, and I do like. Yeah, generally, I do like to make substitutions, but you're happy with it. But everyone was performing the role. I think I said straight after a game, I thought it was the strongest performance. I know you mentioned with the ball and the way we attacked, but I thought it was the strongest performance without the ball for a long time by this group of players, and they need to be really pleased with that. And that's how comfortable we felt on the side as well. So, yeah, that is probably a reflection of that. Everyone doing the job, everyone being committed and fighting for it, and not being panicked at any moment. So, probably it wasn't us that needed to change. It was Everton who needed to do something different.
On Daniel Jebison, even if you wanted to, from a physical perspective, can you put a 17-year-old into 3 Premier League 90 minutes? Is that physically something that is possible to do?
Yeah, listen, he's been worked hard. One thing that certainly happened with the boys in the academy is they've been exposed to some real tough physical training. So no problem with that. We'll just do it with the same care and attention as we do with any player. If we think that they're flagging, if we think that they're susceptible to injury, we might have to consider something different. But in terms of him being physically capable to play, yeah, no problem. But we'll assess that minute by minute and game by game.
Listening to him, he seems like a very modest character. How well is that going to serve him?
Yeah, he is. He's a good guy. I met his family last week for the first time, and you can see where he gets it all from. So yeah, in terms of that, his temperament, his character is very, very good, and he's not only a credit to his family, but as I said before, he's a credit to the coach who's been working with him up there, who've been, from the boys who brought him in to the guys who work with him daily through the 18s, 16s, 18s, and now he's in amongst the first team players. So it is a credit to the club in terms of his temperament and personality.
And look, we saw that video of him going back into the dressing room last night. Clearly a very warm welcome inside there. Is that something that's changed in football over the years? Because you used to hear stories of old pros about how difficult it was finding their place inside a dressing room. Is that different now?
Yeah, it is different. You saw us when I was growing up, and when you were a scholar there, and now it'd be classed as bullying. The police would probably be involved and around the club every day. But that's just how society's changed. But there's still the same demands expected of players. If you can be 16, 17, 18, however old, if you're going into a first team, the first team players want to win. So from that respect, there's certainly a lot of pressure put on you as a young player, and you'll be told if you're not performing. But likewise, I think there's a better understanding, and senior players now understand that to get the best out of that player and maybe have a better chance of winning, you want to welcome them into the group as quick as possible and make them feel welcome when they're playing. And this group of players have done that.
On Newcastle, Steve Bruce has turned things around in the last couple of months to take them away from trouble, because they really were in a bit of a mire a couple of months ago. What have you made of them recently?
Yeah, it's like anything. I think he said at the time, and they got the good players back in terms of their attacking threat. Joe Linton, Almiron, St Maximin, and Callum Wilson. I know might picked up an injury again, but no coincidence getting all their attacking players back in the team gave him the threat, started scoring goals and winning games, picking up points. So sometimes it is just as simple as that. And I know Steve probably was chomping at the bit to get them all back fit and just put his strongest possible team out there, knowing that they would be good enough and pick up points. And we've all seen that now. And
in terms of your own target, 6 points to West Brom, 2 games to play, still potentially a chance to not finish bottom.
Yeah, that'd be nice, of course. But that's us relying on West Brom again. So we want to just go and win the games and get as many points as we can in these last 2, simply for ourselves. As I said, it was nice for me to be with the players when they picked up 3 points, to hear the comments about the players when I see how hard they're working daily. So I want to get that feeling again. I want the players to work hard but get the rewards for it as well. But we saw the other night, it takes an almost perfect performance to get any sort of points in the Premier League. So we have to be prepared to push as hard as we can to get that, because whenever we're not quite there, or even sometimes when we are there, it's not enough. So we know how hard it's going to be.
And look, just finally from me, great to see fans back in stadiums, clearly. Also means, though, when you're away from home, the return of banter from opposition fans too. Are you looking forward to that quite as much?
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Like I say, there's no atmosphere at the minute. Being around the Premier League, some fantastic stadiums, and you could be anywhere. You could be on a local park. There's just nothing. So to get the fans back, get the atmosphere back, get the noise back. Watching the cup final the other day, it was great. Even the VAR decision had more about it because the fans were up in arms about it all. So yeah, it's been missed. It's been sorely missed, and I can't wait for everyone to be back in.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. I think Shields is chewing a wasp now on that VAR comment, but I'll leave him to you.
Hiya, Paul. Just one on Dan Jebison. Has he almost now set the standard, set the blueprint for the academy players coming through?
Well, no, we just want to. Some players come through at different. You've seen the size of Jebbo. Jebbo's already 6'3", 6'4", athletically very good, but he'll get even better over the next 2 years. He's still got a lot of development to go. So physically, he can cope with it. We've got other young players who aren't there yet physically. There's some players who are physically ready, but we know they're not quite there emotionally yet, and maybe it's a bit too much of a step up. So each one of them is different, and they'll be at that level at different moments in time. But it don't mean they can't get there. So yeah, not everyone makes the Premier League debut at 17 and scores a goal. We'd love it. We'd be delighted. But our job's to try and make those players, all of them up there, have careers in the game. Hopefully here. But as I say, that could be they might not make a debut till the 20. They might not play league football till the 20. But it's still a job of the club and the coaches working with them to give them all the care and attention and try and get as many of them with professional careers as possible.
You mentioned that it was the strongest performance without the ball against Everton. I wonder, was it the most complete performance you've had since you've started overseeing things at Sheffield United?
Probably from start to finish. I'd say that. Yeah, I thought we were good against Chelsea and got nothing out of the game in the FA Cup. I thought we were good against Wolves in the game that actually sealed us fate and went down. Should have got something out of that game. And again, from start to finish, I thought we were good in that one. Brighton, obviously, we got a win, but weren't as in control as we were against Everton. So, as I said, there's been good performances in there and got nothing from it. It was nice to have a good performance from start to finish and get the reward, because that gives you a bit more belief. It's tough if you're giving your most in every game and still not getting points. It's tough, but we know we can't feel sorry for ourselves. We know that that's the league we're in. So it was good the other night to put in a performance and feel in control of the points. The fact that, right, if we do this, if we perform, if we carry on doing this, they're not going to hurt us. And that's sort of the feeling I got and the players got during the game.
Just looking at the season overall, I was talking to Enda Stevens this morning about how difficult mentally it's been for the players as well as physically. What's it been like from a management perspective, mentally? Yeah,
well, different for me. I've been stepping in sort of last quarter of the season, if you like, and from a different bubble coming in, I could feel how tough it was walking in, because you're not being a part of it, and there was a flatness about the place. Naturally so, after however long we've been, and I could feel that, and that was the toughest thing to try and turn around, if you like. But that is the problem. Physically, I've said before, the data, the stats are up there, but mentally, to keep going, to keep pushing, and that little edge, that little spark, yeah, you wouldn't be human if you didn't get that knocked out of you at times. But the best performance in anything, sport, anything. Somehow wrestle control of that back and make sure they control what they do and be their best. So I think that's sort of been my focus, making sure I look after what I can do and try and behave in a way where that rubs off on the staff and the players. Because as I said, walking in, you could feel how tough it was, you could feel how flat it was, and it's just the way the circumstances have been since the end of last season, lockdown. It's been relentless. And when things aren't going your way and you've had no break, it becomes tough.
And I know you're only focused on the remaining 2 games of the season, but Enda also talked about next season, the main aim to get the respect back from the fans. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's great of him to say that, and then it shows what the players think about, and that's why it's pleasing for me when people say good things about him after the performance last night. Listen, it's been a step too far, hasn't it, this season? There's no way around it. We've not been good enough for different reasons. You can see that. But as I said, there's not been a lack of effort. There's not. and it's been tough when that effort's been there. Key moments have not gone your way. You fall behind, and then the game's gone from you. We've seen it in so many games this season. But as I said, that's been the nature of the league. And if you want to be in this league, you have to be good enough to cope with that. Last season, especially the first sort of 2/3, 3/4, Sheffield United were in control those big moments and wrestling them in their advantage, going in front 1-0. And we've seen the power of that in the games that we've won recently. So, yeah, it's been really fine margins. And the fact that Ender's come out and spoke about that, I think it's important, because everybody wants to win, everyone. And everyone's on the same team when it's your club, whether you're a player, one of the staff, the fans, everybody wants the same thing, which is the wins.
And just very finally, just on Newcastle, I suppose on that note as well, are you surprised to see a club of their size, of their history, of their tradition, fighting relegation most seasons? Or is that testament to the strength of the Premier League these days? Yeah,
it's the strength of the league. 2 clubs in the Champions League final, another one in the UEFA final. Obviously, Arsenal got to the semi. It's the toughest league. It's like from top to bottom, it is the most competitive, no doubt about it. And it probably, I could see it going further and further ahead in the next few years. And that's why we want to be there. So, yeah, Newcastle finish 15th in the Premier League, for example. I'm just picking a position out there. They're still one of probably the top few clubs in world football, just because of the nature of the league. So, there's no being in the Premier League and holding your place in the Premier League while everyone wants to be winning things. I don't think you can scoff at that.
Top man. Thanks, Paul. Best of luck against Newcastle.
Cheers.
Carl.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Just a quick one from me, and it's you sort of touched on it there, really, in terms of the value of giving some of the younger players pitch time against the balance you need to strike with being competitive. I mean, how much consideration do you give to that in your fight, your last couple of games?
None, just being competitive. Jebo's deserved his time on the pitch. We've not scored goals this season. Look back through. It's been something that's been hard to come by for the forwards, for the team. And putting him in, like I said, he knows his role in the team and what we want from him. So from that point of view, it was an easy decision. And he's been scoring goals all season, which is nice. He's not got the same baggage. He's not got the same. We've just spoke about the time of this season, the end of last season, taking its toll on players. He's not got that baggage with him. So it was putting on merit. It weren't me thinking, do you know what? Let's not win this game. Let's just put a young lad in and give him a chance. So no, the teams are picked to try and win, and that's a compliment to Jebo.
Thank you. I'll do, mate. Cheers.
No problem.